Monday. It is just past 11 and we are here. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Welcome as well. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, I have a very, very lovely, interesting face sitting right next to me. And no, Jill is not a guest. She is the newest member of the family. Please, everyone, give your heartfelt warm welcomes to my new co-host, the lovely Jill Emerson. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. All the way from sunny Scotland. It's quite sunny here today.
Yes. There are grey clouds rolling in the distance, which is giving me a bit of shade, but it's blooming warm.
It's
so
lovely.
How are you?
I am fantastic, thank you. Absolutely brilliant.
Good.
Busy, and loving being on SPtv.
Absolutely. Well, we're really, really glad to have you here, and I personally am glad to have you here. Share the responsibility, you know.
Share the chaos.
Share the absolutely
spread the chaos.
No. We don't share the chaos. We spread it here on Monday Matters. Now, new name. Welcome to Monday Matters, where we make Monday matter. I have it under very good authority that it was actually you that picked the name.
It just spilled out of my mouth when Richard said, you know, we might give it another name. And I went, well, Monday Matters. Monday Matters. So, yeah. And that was it. It clicked.
Absolutely. In actual fact, last week, when we were talking about it coming, and I said, so let's make Monday Matter. Richard was in the background. Well, I don't know whether it was in the background because he was on screen half the time as well. He goes, oh, God, you've got your catchphrase already.
Let's make Monday Matter. Yeah,
exactly.
Everybody gets that Monday morning feeling, don't they? If you don't start later, spread a bit of love on a Monday morning, get them into the working week.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, of course, everyone at home, this is your warning. I need an awooga sound. Please share, like, and subscribe. We need you to share the love. We need you to share the fact that we're online. Look, you need to let the whole world know that Jill is on a Monday now. You know, come on, let everyone know. So there is a link.
Will be shocked that Jill, anyone that knows me will be shocked. Jill's out of her pajamas on Monday morning. I'm out of my pajamas. Yeah.
That's why Monday matters.
Monday matters.
You do know I'm going to flog this one as much as I can. For the next God knows how long.
Have that one free on me. Do what you will with it.
In actual fact, let me make a note for next week. Pajamas.
Yeah. Pajamas. Oh, we need to have a pajama day, maybe.
Yeah. Oh. We'll have
John Lennon and Yoko just have like a
absolutely, so long as I can be Yoko.
Appearing live from the bedroom, Nick and his onesie.
You really don't want to see me sleeping. No. You know, we would be savaged off the air, that's for sure. Well, let's just say we have got a lot to get through today. Yeah. Really, really have. There is so much to talk about on what's going on SPtv, new names, as well, of course, of getting your feet well and truly under the table on a Monday morning. That's my priority. But the family, we've got so many new names to go through, lots and lots and lots of messages. I've brought them, my cards. I've got my cards today. It seems Richard likes me working with cards because it means I'm a bit quicker. But because, you know, I wouldn't want to, you know, right. Right. Gotcha. Right. So people on YouTube, stay where you are. People on Facebook, you need to do something.
So people on YouTube got out of their pajamas. People on Facebook clearly didn't get the memo.
They really didn't. So we are having problems with the broadcast. It's a technical issue that is going to be fixed. So we're going to be back in 2 minutes. You will, if you're on Facebook, need to rejoin. But we're going to go through a reboot, restart, you know, and get fixed. If you're on YouTube, and we are back again. Da, 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 da. I, of course, am joined by my wonderful new co-host, the lovely Jill Emerson. Hello, hon. And so we were just chatting before technological interest kicked in.
Yes.
All about you, dear. And I noticed that you've got a penchant for crystals. In actual fact, I noticed that there is a lovely coloured one in the background there, that lovely purpley pinky rouge. I happen to know that there is an emoji that looks just like that.
The crystal ball.
Yes.
Yes, I am a fan of a crystal ball. I'm a fan of Nostradamus, and scrying is one of my specialities. I love to scry. And the sand in the background, when you think about it, in the 17th century, what did they do? They used blood and bones, scattered them to see, should I fight that tribe or that tribe, will I win? They used to use black obsidian. That was Nostradamus's one, black obsidian. But who wants to get their hands messy? It's 2023. So
Exactly.
I like, you know, we've got more modern ways of doing it now. So all my students have invested in one of these sand scryers, and we just give it a turn and let it fall and see what happens.
Fabulous, fabulous. In actual fact, I've got a black obsidian. It's about that big. I'll have to bring it on one week, and we can have a look. But I do know that there is. If everyone looks just above I don't know whether they can see the name from it. But if you look, there you are. In the bottom left hand, as you're looking at it, corner of the screen, that lovely purple one. There is an emoji that looks like that. So to welcome Jilly to the show when you're saying your hellos. Use that emoji. Use that emoji to say hello. And of course, speaking of hellos, we better say, find out who's online and who's sharing and joining in the love. So if everything is technically sound and stable, dear producer Richard, let's say hello to a few people. Obviously, Claire F. Strachan has said, "Hooray, Jilly!" And you've got.
That's my homie. That's my bestie.
So let's kicking off with that. So hello, Claire.
Jessica, thank you. Hello, Jessica. Welcome to the family as well. Nice to see you.
Isabel Felix, good morning to you. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. Carol McDowell, good morning. We're fine today. Good weather. We're happy. Few gremlins, but apart from that, we're great. Excellent stuff. Lisa Wilkinson, hi everyone, day after day. So thought I'd jump on. You jump on, my love. We're glad to have you here. Hi, Sam. Good morning. Good morning. There's a happy face. Richard sends regards too. Yeah. Eunice, good morning. Good morning, Eunice. Oh, look at the dog. I love dogs. Love dogs. Sheila Mangan, I hope I got that right. Hello there and welcome to the show. Good morning. Welcome to Monday Matters. Vatrina, good morning. All the way from New York State by the Canadian border. Wow. Wonderful. Lovely. Here comes the international ones. Oh, there's another. Oh, look, I've got the emoji. Hooray, there's Laura Marie. The emoji and the Laura purple Marie hearts did it. Well done, Laura Marie.
Laura Marie, welcome. Margaret O'Brien. Hi, Nick and Jill. There you go.
Hi
Lovely.
there. Hello.
Loving the flowers.
You're going to have trouble now because all my Scottish followers are going to come on and the names are just going to kill you.
I wouldn't worry about that. As I said, my darling, I might have an English accent, but actually I'm part
There's
of
a wee bit
Scotland.
Scotland. Yeah, a wee bit of
Hey.
Scot in there. Hi, Sarah or Sarah. Good morning.
Morning. Limo. Good morning, my darling. I left my Merlinite obsidian at my friend's house.
Get it back.
Yes.
Get it back. Go fetch it back and use it. Very good. Oh, there's another one of my girls. Hello. This are my students coming. Hi, Karen. Karen's a Reiki master.
Wonderful.
Fabulous lady. Absolutely fabulous lady.
Absolutely. And a potential watcher. Vitrina says in the northeast, New York, near Vermont. Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Diane Steele. Hey.
Okay. Hello, Diane.
Good to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Welcome.
No, not Hawkeye. You have to. It's sort of in the back of the throat.
It comes right from here, doesn't it?
Yeah. Woohoo, Scotland. I'm from Arbroath, famous for the Arbroath Smoky and Arbroath Abbey, where the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the Stone of Destiny got nicked and it got dumped in Arbroath. That's where I'm from.
There we go.
There you go. A little bit of history
you know.
as well. Imagine the only town you live in being famous for smoked fish. It's nice. It's really nice, but you know, it's not glamorous.
Shelley Stewart.
Yeah.
Good morning to you.
Good morning. Hi, Trish. Felicity Mazur, is that where you're from? Is that a place or is that hello?
Oh, that's an invitation of a friend.
There's another one of my girls, Shona. Shona is from a place. Try this one, Barotti Ferry. That's where Shona is. Barotti Ferry.
And Sarah is a fellow Glaswegian.
Come on, welcome to SPtv.
Absolutely. I've got a student up your way. Tulip Smith Arnold brings in the crystal ball.
Emoji.
There we go.
You did it. Well done.
Well done. Well done.
Melbourne, Australia. You're up early or up late.
Welcome, Shiloh.
Yeah. Margaret. Hello, Margaret. Oh, look at all that. Look at all those emojis.
There you go. And of course, the purple hearts are very reminiscent of a good friend of ours. I hope you're well, darling. Shona Hamilton, good morning.
Morning, Shona. Morning.
Gonna say we can actually have Dawn on as a guest when she's
Hi, Casey.
Right. Morning, Casey.
Good morning.
Chrissy, hello, darling. Now look at all those purple hearts.
Purple hearts. Purple hearts.
Yes. Good morning. Now, Limo being one of my students, all the way over in the Netherlands, recognizes that my hair is usually a mess on a Monday, especially by the time we get to Circle at 2 o'clock.
So I feel quite honoured. We're out of pyjamas and a haircut. So yeah.
Exactly, and as Richard pointed out, a shave as well. Now that is even rarer.
Me too.
Susan Ross with the sunflowers. Hello to you.
Good morning, Susan. Yeah.
And thank you to everyone who has joined in, said hello. I better give Mum a mention because I'll be in trouble. You'll hear a lot from her, Jill, over the coming months.
That's okay.
Linda, good morning. Hello, Mum. And so welcome to everyone to the show. We are going to be talking about various different things today. Of course, breaking Jill into the SPtv. There's Mum. Look, you'll get to.
Hi, Linda. Yeah.
And you did have a show every Tuesday. I'm just being told, because I was a late arrival to the SPtv family, to be fair. But yeah, it's breaking you into your morning Monday morning matters.
Yeah.
And you know,
Yeah.
getting to know each other as well, I
That's
think
right.
will
Yeah.
be important, not just for us, but for another one of my students there. Morning, Daryl. I hope you're with us this afternoon.
We must both be quite tough teachers to have them all up at this time on a Monday.
Well, I know, and in actual fact,
Yeah.
here's one of the ones that I stole from SPtv. Lovely Dawny. Good morning, my hun.
Good morning.
She's been doing the reading list.
Here's Stace.
Morning,
Missing the
Stace.
red
Now,
lipstick.
Stace, yes, definitely. Now, we've been talking about you, Stace, and the work you've been up to, and the showcase, the Wednesday showcase, is so fully booked now up until September. She's been working really, really hard, bless her. So the showcase is an excellent way of showcasing. Clues in the name, really, isn't it, Jill? Showcasing the work of Spirit. Morning, Adi. My another one of my Monday afternooners. Yeah, we are tough teachers getting them up this early.
Yeah, definitely.
So the showcase, in actual fact, I want to talk to you about the showcase, Adi, funnily enough, is all about promoting and showing workers of spirit, exponents of spirit, all the different ways of working, those that feel comfortable enough to work on it. And so it's ironic that Stace comes up when the first in the list to talk about is, of course, the showcase, which is coming in May. And we have not got long left before that hits us. So, you know, for you, Jill, what is the most important thing? You know, we've both mentioned, obviously, we've both got students watching. And we've got people who are watching who are in various different circles all around the globe. For you, what is the most important thing to recognize in a student when it comes to releasing them upon the world and saying, you know what, get out there, it's time to start publicly working?
My students would tell you one of the most important things is what I call platform etiquette. If you didn't want it said to you, you wouldn't say it to someone else. That is the most important thing that I see. We have to be really careful about how we present things to people. We don't know what their state of mind is. So before I would even release a student onto the world, I would also want to talk, I was talking to Richard about this earlier actually, platform etiquette for me can be in a one-to-one reading, a group setting, online, live, or a church.
Yeah.
How you present yourself, you know, smarten yourself up a bit. You're serving the divine, you're serving spirit, smarten yourself up a bit. You know, it's not really good to go on chewing gum, your hair a mess, and just go, you know what, I've got your mother here. You've got to really try and remember it's a divine thing that you're doing, and it's a really important job. Platform etiquette for me is not blurting things out. Even though spirit may give you it a certain way, don't blurt it out because you don't know how someone might receive it. And other ears are listening, not everybody wants to know their business. So platform etiquette, the cans, the can'ts, what you should, what you shouldn't do.
Here. I totally agree. In actual fact, it always reminds me of when I first came into this way of life. I was about 18. We're talking about 25 years. In actual fact, yesterday was the 25th anniversary of me declaring myself a spiritualist.
Yeah.
I always remember that there was this lovely medium who came up to me and she said, do you know it takes years and years and years to develop as a medium? And she said, the mediumship is the easy bit.
Yes.
It's how to translate that into a working way of politeness and decency for people. It's not the communicating with the spirit that's the hard part. It's communicating with people, the living, the physical spirit.
Sometimes I have people come to me and I think they think it's a 6-week course. So am I medium now? You know, I've been here 6 weeks. When do I get my certificate and get let loose? And I say, you know, 30 years, and I still don't know everything.
Exactly.
I'm still learning. And sometimes spirit do surprise you and just up the game with you. Just to keep you a little bit humble. So even with 30 years experience, I can stand on a platform and my guides will suddenly swim up just to keep me, you know, humble and not take it for granted.
Absolutely.
I think until you've, and quite often I wouldn't put up a student that's not ready, because you might get someone participating in that reading, the sitter, the person you're giving the reading to, who totally destroys them.
Yeah.
And you as a teacher know that. You
absolutely
know how to handle that, but they might not. So you've got to, you know, teach them that as well.
Going to say it is a risk, because it's you, no matter what you do, how far you go, how long you're in it, you're always going to get that sometimes quite vitriolic critique.
Yes.
And it is soul destroying, and it can be really damaging to a development of someone's work if they are not prepared for that nasty, spiteful comment, or even just somebody who's actually trying to be helpful, but actually it comes across really, really badly.
Comes across wrong.
And it can come as equally from outside the movement as it can from within, and sometimes it's worse from within.
Sometimes it's worse from within. Everybody's, you know, everybody's a critic. It's kind of like, for me, it's like being a, not that you're a comedian, but it's like being a comedian and having a heckler in the audience. I'll give you an example of that. Last night, I served a church last night in Aberdeen, travelled 60 miles. It was a long day. And in the evening, I started to do a reading, and right in the middle of it, someone at the back started talking loudly, "I know what you're saying," and shouting over. And my daughter's a singer in a pub. She sings in pubs, and I watched how she handles situations like that. So I just let him speak for a minute and went, "Thank you for your input," and carried on. Eventually, he did really get disruptive. I don't think he knew how a spiritualist church works. And I have to say, we don't really do that in a spiritualist church. So there are ways of handling it, but you're right. If it was a brand new student, first time on platform, they would come off maybe really shaken by that and say, "I'm never doing it again," you know. So
And do you know what? That is why I love the idea, and this isn't blowing smoke up anyone. This is why I love the idea of the showcase on SPtv, because that barrier, that protection, that defense is the lovely Richard and Terry and Stace, who work in the background, depending on who's, you know, sitting working.
It's a safe place to practice. It's a safe place.
Because certainly Richard makes sure that we don't get any of the negative. The poor bloke, right? You know, all the time and effort he puts in. It is, you know, but he gets to see all of that. But as presenters, as hosts, as workers, we don't get that. We really so it is a beautiful place to start exercising, and it is that word that I keep hearing so often lately. Thank you. Safe space. It is a safe space where you can get out there and start practicing, because practice is what is required. So
I don't know about you, Nick, but when I first started out in mediumship, it was very much like, you know, like you were saying about that lady. It was all, you know, feet flat on the floor, and you had to, you know, it was very much like a cardie that matched you, and you had to just sit there. And it wasn't very personal. You know, it was a set way. And I don't agree with churning out cookie cutter mediumship. We're all different. We're all a fingerprint. We're all different. And I just feel some of the bigger organisations affiliated with spiritualism don't protect their students very well. They sort of throw them to the lions. And boy, oh boy, if you've got a room full of people that think they know, it can be throwing them to the lions. And everyone's a critic. "Oh, I would have done that this way," or "I would have said that." And it can really, you know, put them down. So having that barrier, you know, great to have a safe place for them. It really is.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the perfect example, and to back you up on that, there are certain schools of thought that actually put a time limit on philosophy. If that were the case with me, I'd be stuffed. You know, Richard has got an off button and a mute button for me, so he's fine. If we start going over one of my 15-minute rants, but you know, we are all individual, but then spirit are all individual too, and so therefore you're absolutely right. The whole cookie cutter way of working. My job as someone to develop someone is not to make them like me, but to help them embrace who they are and give out what is one of the most, you know, strengthening aspects of their way of working. Their most unique way of working is them. it is them. So it is a fine line, but this is definitely a safe space. Funny, this was the person I was using that phrase with just the other day, Dawny Walden. This family is very much my safe space. I get so calm when working with Nick and the rest of the crew. 100% safe space.
Yeah.
We are so pleased to hear that, babe. We
Yeah.
really, really are. And, you know, this is the wonderful thing. So if you are starting out on your journey, starting out on your adventure, and want a safe space where you can exercise your spirit muscles, get in touch with Richard, get in touch with Stace. The showcase is for you.
Yeah.
Stace, in actual fact, says, my first time on SPtv was the community showcase. Oh Lord, I was so nervous, but it helped me build my confidence. And that is what practice is about. It's not about making perfect. It's about confidence in your connection with spirit, your ability to relay that. And working is the only way to do that.
Yeah. And don't fear the no. Don't fear the no. That's, I always say to people, you know, the amount of times in my career as a medium that someone said, no, don't understand that. What, you don't know who Fred is? No, don't understand that. And to the audience, they think, well, she's not very good, is she? 2 days later, just spoke to my mum. Oh my God, I know who the no is. I know who the Fred is. I know what that is. And you're thinking, God, we should say that in front of everybody.
This is the thing. But I mean, the other thing, you know, you're absolutely right. Never avoid the no's. I love them because it helps me keep humble. It helps me practice and it makes me go back and check. In actual fact, when I first started working, for the first like year or so, every single first piece of evidence I gave was a no, to the extent that the first time I worked and got a first yes, I was actually, what's wrong? What have I done wrong?
Yeah.
And so, you know, the no's are equally as important to us as mediums to make sure we're on the right track as a yes is.
Yeah.
And you know, it proves that we're not sitting there flicking you know, I work with someone who was accused of reading the phone book. Yes, as if we've got time to do that.
Wow.
You know, I can't even remember my own mother's phone number without pressing auto dial. So I'm not going to sit there and memorize stuff. But all these little things add up. Angie Jennings says there is such thing as praying too. So is there such a thing as
praying too much?
What do you think?
I think it depends what you're praying for and what you're praying about. If you are feeling really, really low, really, really down, and fixate on putting all your thoughts out there to Spirit, Spirit don't want you to do that. They want you to enjoy life, to go out the front door, speak to people, get fresh air. You can pray in different ways than just being on your knees and speaking to Spirit. You can go out in your garden and look at the flowers and say, what a great flower. That's praying. That's sending up thoughts to Spirit. Praying for other people, you can never pray too much. You can never pray too much when you want other people to be happy and you're sending prayers out for other people. If you saying prayers for yourself, say it every night, God bless me, you know, Spirit bless me. That's absolutely great. But if you're spending every minute of every day fixating on a health worry, a mental health worry, or a really bad problem, then I would say you can pray too much. That's fixating on it, and it's not doing you any good. And Spirit wouldn't want you to do that. They want you to be happy. So you have to, one foot in spirit, one foot in material is what I say. You've got to have a healthy balance.
And that is the word. Absolutely, that is the word, balance. You know, I'm reminded that you know, because one of the things that I tend to get, you know, distracted by is the prayers and the philosophy. I know people want the mediumship, but I think it's important that we do the philosophy and the prayers as a minister. And as Shelley has just quite rightly said, depends on who you pray to. I pray to God all the time. Absolutely. But there is an important aspect of prayer that is forgotten sometimes, I think, and I notice this in my role as a minister. When people talk about prayers, they focus on prayers being the asking for the stuff, and you touched on that. It's also about giving thanks for what we do have. Thanks for and also that connection and that comfort. I'm reminded of one thing that you will get to know from me, Jill, as we work together, is that I like to quote things that I've seen on TV. No, not that, Richard. Is there was this quote I saw, and actually it's not science fiction for once, it's actually the West Wing. There was a quote about prayer, and it was Toby Ziegler. He was talking about one of his relatives telling a story from when they were in a concentration camp. And I did my research on this, and it actually was a genuine thing that they'd put in there. This guy was in a concentration camp, and we all know what was happening there. And every morning and every evening, he would get on his knees and he would pray. And they with all what was going on, and the fact that they were being, brutalized for their faith, one of them turned around and said, "Look, why are you continually praying with all this going on?" And he says, "I get down on my knees and pray and thank God that I'm not like them."
Yeah.
And this is the important thing. Sometimes we see prayer as a cosmic cash machine, rather than a communication. And it is a form of mediumship. We might not always get the answer we want, but then we as mediums know we don't always get the information we want.
I think praying as well, for me, I'm not going to tell you my age, but growing up, when I grew up, praying was something that you did at school when it was religious, education. They wheeled in the piano and the teacher would sit and play the piano, and you would sing. My grandchild calls them Happy Jesus songs. Can I sing your Happy Jesus song, Nanny? And she'll sing, all things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small. She'll sing things like that. And for me, that little one is sending up a little prayer, but for her, it's just a happy song. But when I was younger, it wasn't cool. It just if someone had said to me in second year at the high school, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I could go, "Oh, a medium. That's what I want to do." And the praying would then make sense to me, and I would maybe have embraced it more. But you can't say at school in second year, "Well, I talk to people that no one else sees, and I like meditation." They would have went, "We need to speak to your parents." So it wasn't cool growing up to pray.
No.
But we know I know my prayers get answered.
Yeah.
But I tell my group this every single day. It doesn't matter what the weather is. I open the back door to let the dog out for a morning wee, and sometimes that can be 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm up early, and I look up to the sky, and I always speak out to the universe and just go, "Thank you, woke up again, woohoo!"
Yeah.
Here I am.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think the core purpose of prayers is so similar to many other and one of the wonderful things about SPtv, and certainly this way of life, is the different ways of working. And we might call it prayers because of our culture and our upbringing, but I know that one of my friends on here, you said hello to her this morning, Eunice, would remind me that prayers are also setting an intention.
Oh yeah.
And the intention part is the vital part. And taking some responsibility for our situation is equally vital as asking for help within it. I need to achieve this. Please help me by doing this, or give me something that will help me do this. As I always say, I always close the prayer, because I run a divine service on a Thursday night. I always try and close my prayers with, "We ask you not to move the mountain, just give us the strength to climb."
Yes.
Because it's an understanding that, yes, sometimes it is an uphill struggle. We need to be the one walking, but we know you can't make it easy, but help us make it easier, please. And on that score, you can never pray too much. But if it becomes an obsession and a rescinding of intent, a rescinding of responsibility, then it can actually be very dangerous. So I hope that answers the question.
A very, very good friend of mine told me a prayer once. It's very short, and it went, "Dear God, so far today I have not kicked the dog. So far today I have not sworn at my husband. Thank you for giving me the strength and patience to only have one coffee. Thank you, God, for this day, because I've not overspent on Amazon. But God, I'm going to have to get out of bed in 5 minutes. Give me strength. So yeah, basically prayers can be fun, they can be happy, they don't have to be begging and helping, but if you give out thanks and appreciate what you've got, I think the answers come and you get more of what you need. We always say that you don't get what you need, you don't get what you want, you get what you need. That's the difference.
Absolutely. And so yes, we are going to now, we've mentioned the showcase. There's a lot more going on, and we're going to talk about that when we come back, as well as give out messages. So keep sharing, everyone. There's never enough sharing going on. So, and we have a set limit before we will start giving out messages, and I've got these ready, and I know Jill's ready as well.
I'm ready to go.
So, you know, get sharing, because if we don't hit that target, not happening. You'll just have to listen to us yak all day. But we're going to talk some more about the other wonderful things going on SPtv in the next coming weeks, and starting, you know, in a few hours' time. So for the first time today, Richard, roll VT. Oh.
I'm not precious about it, don't worry. I'm not precious about it.
MySpiritualDirectory.com is one of the fastest growing online free listing service. Our search directory offers geolocation feature, rating ability, review system, map location, customer comment, YouTube video, gallery, social media sharing, direct contact with the lister, simple online booking and payment system. It's free to register and use. It even creates your own mini web page, which you can update at any time, and yes, it's still free, no monthly or yearly fees. 100% free. Creates your own profile page. Add social media and other links. Add a mini gallery and a YouTube video. Rating, reviews and comments. Includes online booking and payments. So, if you're looking for a medium or a reader, even a church, maybe a healer, or any other spiritual service, then visit myspiritualdirectory.com.
My Spirit Life is a free online interactive magazine for those who have an interest in improving their spiritual lives. Authors can upload images, videos, and audio clips to their own articles. The public can place comments, rate the article, and follow the author. All articles are vetted before being published. For more information and to place your own article, please visit myspiritlife.co.uk.
Tonight from 8 p.m, Robert D. Lee demonstrates his mediumship abilities while offering free readings to our viewers.
And we're back. We're back. So much to unpack now that we are back. And the first thing, of course, is to mention Robert Lee tonight. A new show for SPtv, and a wonderful new face for everyone to, you know, get around and watch. Hi there to Kirsty White. Good to see you.
Hello.
Yes, so tonight we've got the wonderful Robert Lee joining the family, but there are so many other names. But what do we need to remind everybody to do before we can start giving out messages?
Share. Share.
Absolutely. We need you to share and tell the world we're here, so that you can see all these lovely messages that we want to give you. And there are spirit people in the background waiting, we know. Lots to discuss, but of course we have been talking about development. It seems to have been the organic, and I know as a tutor you've got a lot to share. I'm a gobby what's it, so I've always got plenty to share, whether people are interested in it or not, frankly. Share your truth, as they say. So get your questions in about development and growth, especially with the whole showcase Wednesdays.
So we've got Kelly Rocket. when doing a reading, is it true that spirit is clear, and if what you're receiving is confusing, it's not spirit? Well, I'm confused all the time, and sometimes it is spirit. So yeah. Okay, Kelly, when I'm doing a reading, sometimes depending on me, how I'm feeling, or depending on the situation that I'm in, depending on the spirit person that's coming forward, they can be very, very clear. Sometimes us as mediums, we've got to work a lot harder to help them bring forward the information to give over to you. There is no right and wrong. That's what I would say. There is no right and wrong. For me personally, sometimes when there's a confusing feeling coming forward, perhaps that spirit working really hard to tell me they were confused before they passed. Perhaps there was a dementia, an Alzheimer's, a medical condition. So I would just say accept what you get. And if you're doing a reading for someone and you're practicing and you feel confusion, just put it across to the person and say, would you understand someone who was perhaps a little bit confused before they passed? If it comes through really clear, whew, good, go for it, girl. Yeah. Because that's fabulous. Just give out what you get, basically.
Absolutely. Completely agree. I would add to that as well. Morning, Kelly, by the way, the lovely Kelly Roquette. You know, sometimes we in this way of life oversimplify things when it comes to development. You know, and as Jill said, there is no real right or wrong. It depends on the situation. Absolutely, totally agree about the it could be a symptom of them and their physical, you know, expression. For example, if somebody in your life who came through was just a complete nut job like me, who was always rambling and never made any sense, if they suddenly came through and everything was crystal clear, then, you know, it wouldn't be them and you wouldn't recognize them. But also when it comes to information, it's really important, no matter whether it is clear or whether it is confusing, to always test the spirit. Make sure that your connection is right. Make sure that you are actually getting spirit in other ways. So I call it the umbrella test. And we can all do this, actually. Sitting at home right now, imagine in your head an umbrella. And when you see that picture in your head of an umbrella, turn it into a handbag. Now, if you are in control of that visualization, in other words, you are imagining it, that umbrella can turn into a handbag really, really easy. But then ask spirit to show you an umbrella. Ask spirit to give you an umbrella. Number one, it will probably look a little bit different. But number two, when you try and turn it into a handbag, it will keep flipping back to the umbrella because you're not totally in control of that image. It's spirit input coming through. And so when you are not in complete control of that image, that's how you test the spirit. That's how you know it's spirit. So, you know, a little practical exercise that I give to everyone there. But you're absolutely
I use a blue duck. I do the same thing, but I use a blue duck. Yeah. See a blue duck. And if you swipe that image away, we just swipe it away and then see what comes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. Yeah, I always tell my ladies and some of the guys that I've worked with, that place in your head where you can imagine or visualize, I feel spirit kind of know that we're not really in control of it. And they use that to just drop images in there. And I'll do an exercise where I'll say, do not see a blue duck. And they all go, oh, it's in my head. And spirit know that. So when they want to communicate a message, they know that we can't help but see what they drop in our head. And it's one of these things that even with your eyes open, you can see it somewhere. So right now, with my eyes are open, I'm looking at you, I can see an umbrella. I can see an umbrella. And it did change. It was an open umbrella. Then when you said it was a closed, old-fashioned parasol. So that's the difference. You know the difference. Brilliant.
You're very welcome, Kelly. I hope that helps. And like I said, sometimes in our way of life, we do oversimplify things. And it's a case of this must mean this and this must mean that. But we're all we've mentioned this before today. We are all individual. We are all unique. We have to work on that and realize that there are different ways of working that might be different to other people.
That's right.
And so, you know, we should always be aware of that.
Yeah.
So Jan Faraday has asked, hi, can I ask, when I get my visions in colour very clear, but when in black and white a bit blurred? So for me, that is very dependent on the individual. So what you're saying is you can get very clear visions, but sometimes in black and white and a bit blurry. Once again, it's down to the individual.
It's the same question, just in a different.
It is, and it's the same question, but it's kind of like moving up a gear now, isn't it? It's that elevation.
More detail.
Yes, and that is exactly it. Now, once again, it's the imagination side of it, spirit making use of the imagination. That's how it works. It's kind of like we're sitting there with our own, you know, we're deciding which channel to have on the TV, and then somebody steals the remote.
That's right.
Now, sometimes the signal might not be great, or the person communicating might not be as practiced at communicating. Let's remember that it's a three-way, it's a three-point communication process. You've got spirit up there and us down here. We have to go up there.
That's right. And
they have to come down, and we meet in the middle. But unfortunately, you know, just like any journey, you might get a bit sidetracked by seeing someone in the co-op and forgetting that you've got to be here by 10:30. Not that I would ever do that, of course. But, you know, you can get a bit sidetracked. So sometimes the signal's a little bit off. Yeah. Or that person is not used to meeting us halfway. Or we are still practicing. Or we could just have a cold coming, or have had a really distracting day. Or, you know, when you've got stuff going on your head, it's hard for them to put other stuff in.
Yep.
So I would say that it's a similar part, but the next step of what we've just been discussing.
Shift up. Yeah,
shift up.
You must have had the same teacher as me, I think.
Spirit, yeah.
Yes, spirit, definitely. But, you know, putting a material person in front of you that said the same things. And
yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add then? Because I don't get everything.
I absolutely agree. I agree with that as well. Sometimes, you know, like you said, don't oversimplify it. Sometimes when we, you know, I hear a lot of people that they work with symbology. Sometimes I will get, you know, I've got like a library of symbols that spirit will go give you that. And I know that I have to give that out. For an example, one of the ones that I use is, if spirit show me a Dalmatian dog, I know that the Dalmatian is the symbol for the fire brigade. It also tells me sometimes Dalmatians are born a little bit deaf. So when I see a Dalmatian, symbolically, I can simplify that. That means that or that, and I can give that out. But then sometimes you get something and it's not within your frame of reference. It's not something that you know. It will come across a little bit blurry, and that's when you just got to trust spirit. And, you know, work a little bit harder about what it means. Go back and ask, keep asking them, give me something else, give me a little bit more, and just work that little bit harder. You know, spiritualism and being a medium is not, you know, you can't read a recipe. It's a trial and error. You know, you've got to find 100 ways to do it wrong before you find the way that suits you to do it right. So it's trial and error, and this is all part of learning. It's just all part of learning.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Hope that helps, Jan. In actual fact, for all those watching who are interested in development, one of the new shows that we've got coming on, the lovely Marcus Lapser is doing mediumship and actually live teaching. That's going to be one of the new shows. That is going to be awesome. I love that. So that's something to look out for as well. But you're very welcome, Jan. I hope that helps. As well as Marcus, of course, we've got the lovely Ellie Charles. Of course, we've already mentioned, but it's important to give him another plug. The lovely Robert Lee is on tonight. There's going to be a new show with Ian Mason. And in May, there's going to be another new show with Sarah Andrews about angels, which I know a lot of those that I work with really do love angels and angel work. So there's so much going on with SPtv to help development, which is obviously the route the rabbit hole we've definitely gone down. So I do know we've got another question.
Siobhan, how do spirits see an event before it happens? Well, if you think about the spirit world, Siobhan, there is no time. There is no time in the spirit world. Time is a man-made thing. Somewhere, someone along the line broke the world up into how many times it goes round the sun, and time is a man-made thing. If you looked at the world from space, you wouldn't see a big clock on it. So in spirit realm, there is no time. When they pass away, it could be seconds before we're over there joining them, but on Earth it could be 90 years. And they are in a position where they see everything, they know everything, and I don't think that they come in to interfere in our lives and tell us the future, because if not, I'm going to have a word with my guides why I haven't had the lottery numbers yet. That is not on. So if they were to give us future events straight off the bat in detail, we would live our lives differently. So they will see things, but perhaps not be allowed, or it's not part of their work to tell us that it's going to happen. We have to experience it for ourselves and live our lives on Earth as we should. But there is no time in spirit. So yeah, they can see things that are going to happen before us, but they won't necessarily let us know.
Yeah. And I've actually drawn a picture because this is one of my favourite ones too. A diagram.
You know, so excited.
Because this is one of my favourites actually. We cannot, as physical beings, understand a realm that does not restrict itself and has no border. I mean, you've only got to look at the way we as humans rip ourselves apart and stick each other in boxes. We cannot understand anything that is non-linear. We cannot understand that anything that doesn't have physical concepts. So I asked my friends and helpers to explain how they can see further ahead. And one of my favorites is, this is now, this is tomorrow. Now, based on the shape of things in the now, they can see that if things carry on the same, this is the shape of things tomorrow. But here's the thing. At any point halfway along, thanks to that wonderful gift called free will, the shape has now changed. However, if we think of the horizon, and here's where the picture comes, right? Here's my picture. I do like to scribble. So here's my picture, right? There's a big tower, and there's us standing at the bottom. And if you think about that curve, that's like the horizon looking out into the horizon on this curved planet we live in. Now, our view of the horizon stops there. That's as far as we can see. But because of the higher vibration, the higher frequency, the higher realm, literally using that height analogy, the horizon for spirit is that much further ahead because of that unique perspective and that non-linear way of living that the world of spirit have. Obviously, it's an analogy, so I don't believe that the universe is curved like the planet of the Earth. But it's just that way of showing that we down here have a limited view. Them up there have a much higher view. And therefore, if you look at the similarity between horizons, they have that more distant view of the shape of things to come.
The shape of things to come.
Hope that helps.
Cheers.
What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that?
Yeah.
I think that I think things get a little bit stretched in spirit realm. It's like there is a stretching and expanding of, you know, there's no bodies, you're just a thought. And, you know, if spirit can put a thought in our head just like that and can communicate just like that, think about what my mind can't actually get around what they could be doing in spirit world. The possibilities are literally endless. There is no time, there's no pain, there's no suffering, there's just learning more lessons and guiding us. You know, and as much as, you know, my grandma in spirit might want to come and tell me, Jill, put the chocolate cake down, it's not good for you, and you know better, she's not going to interfere because we also have free will. So free will comes into things. What they can see from spirit perspective comes into things. And like you say, we've got to, you know, meet halfway, but I think there are some things that they're not allowed to.
Absolutely.
You know, there's a higher source above all that going, you can't tell them the lottery numbers,
Yeah.
you know.
And this is the thing. I love how this is all actually flowing, because it takes us back to prayers. We
Yeah,
can't have everything
yeah,
done for us.
yeah. I told you this morning I wanted to meet Gerard Butler. He's yet again, it's Monday and he's
Still
not
not
here.
happening. Yeah, I know the feeling. I'm still waiting for a few of them to turn up at my door, but Tom Daly's already
Yeah.
taken.
And I do pray for that, but it ain't happening. So yeah.
I'm gonna say, and I've got a particular penchant for Spider-Man. But moving swiftly on, Hallie's House 13. Do you think people are born to be mediums, or can anyone do it? We've just lost the ability. I'm going to answer that from my perspective first, then see what Jill's got to say. But I think both, in answer to your question. Do you think people are meant to be mediums? Yes. Can anyone do it? Yes. We've just lost the ability. Yes. Life programs us. You've only got to look at what we were talking about earlier with regarding, again, the prayers. You know, it wasn't cool, it wasn't right. But if you look at the way we're programmed to, say, for instance, an imaginary friend, you know, someone talking to someone who no one else can see, instantly you're vilified, instantly you're criticized, told you're nuts, told you're stupid, told you're daft. There is a lot of antagonism between this way of life and many other organized religions, who call us, you know, wrong, evil, you know, possessed monsters and devil worship. And they know the devil a lot better than I do, because personally speaking, you know, I'm not interested in that side of it, but they seem to know a lot more than I. But that says it all. But the point is this: we are programmed to not be mediums. When we sit in development, we are programming ourselves to relearn that natural gift and ability that we are all ingrained with. We all have the potential to be mediums. Every single person. It is just whether we are open to it or not. That's the difference.
So when I was a little girl, I'm adopted. So when I was a little girl, I kind of felt like a square peg in a round hole in our family. There was a tall one, a short one, a ginger one, a grey one, you know, all different colours, all different, so quite an eclectic family. I was the weird one that sat in the corner painting and talking to my friends. And like all good parents, they took me to a psychiatrist because I had vivid dreams, couldn't sleep at night for the people coming out in the bedroom. I used to freak my mother out, telling her things like, oh, you know that lovely lady that tucks me in at night, Mummy, with all the bangles? And she'd go, no, what are you talking about? And I learned as I got older, that just don't fly with people. So we do all have that ability. It just depends on how you're nurtured and how you're brought up. So here's the nature versus nurture argument with me. As I grew up and had children of my own, one night my daughter came and said, Mummy, you know the lady that tucks me in at night with all the bangles? And it all came back.
Flooding back, yeah.
And I immediately spoke to friends. She dragged me to a spiritualist church. Here I am 30 years later.
Yeah.
And being adopted, I did a search of my birth family. And I found one half who are what I would call muggles. Very nice muggles, but they're muggles. The other half, there is a cousin on that side. And the first thing she said to me was, you do know you come from a long line of spooks?
Brilliant.
So, yes, definitely everyone can do it. Some can do it, like some children are better at painting than others. Some are better at doing Lego than others. Some are better at playing sports than others. Some people are better as they're little, tuning into, you know, every child will have an invisible friend, or do they? Or do they? But growing up, we're told, no, you can't believe in that. We're told to believe in other things, but not that. And as we get older, life takes over. We get a little bit stressed. We don't have time for what other people would call that nonsense or that stuff. But it just takes something to reignite that passion in you and get you back on that track. And I always say it's very difficult to come out of the closet as a medium, because you know, you can come out all sorts of closets in 2023, but just still don't come out as a medium, because you will immediately get people saying, how's Elvis? You know, give us the lottery numbers. But if you can ignore that, rise above it and find your path, yes, it can come back. Might take a little bit of work, but yeah, we can all do it and it can come back. If you've got a good teacher as well, get a good teacher. Yeah. Here's Julie. I personally don't think spirit know the future. I agree with Nick that they have a broader view of what's happening, but only from the perspective they are at. That's a good point of view to have. Yeah, definitely.
Can I go back to Hallie, actually? Thank you, Julie, for chipping in as well. Everyone, get the conversation going. I know.
Share, please. Share, because we're not doing readings until we get shares.
How are we on the shares, by the way, Richard? Facebook's gonna go slow again. There's a surprise.
Deary me.
Right. Okay. Because Hallie, you know, one of the most important things when it comes to this way of life is remembering what you were talking about. Whoa, that really disappeared out of my head really quick, and I know the reason why. Hallie, it's really important, not just as an individual. I mean, Jill made a really important comment about coming out of the closet as a spiritualist. Well, trust me, I've come out of more cupboards than Harry Potter. You know, so I know what it's like. But when it comes to nurturing those around us, it is again that word that we used earlier about having a safe space. I have just quickly picked you a card, and this is Helios, also known as illumination, because there is so much going on around you at the moment. I was drawn to pick you something, and I know that there's this burning ambition going on around you. There's this burning and desire, but it's also not just about you. There is this burning desire to help people, but there's also this concern with it as well, and that's where the whole coming out of the spiritual closet comes in. Make sure that you are always surrounded by people who want to give you light and upliftment and love when talking about this. Yes, you do have to be careful with people, but one thing that I have learned by coming out of two different cupboards is that you cannot lie to yourself, and you need to always be accepting of you. I know that there's been a lot of frustration around you with this. I know there's been a lot of difficulty with this. I'm also being made aware that there is someone who was very forgetful coming through, because as soon as I went to link with you, everything was suddenly gone. So I don't know whether you'd have a loved one of the next generation up who would have suffered from some form of brain condition or dementia. Interestingly enough, I will say that those who do experience that, it's a condition of the brain, not the mind. The mind is protected, so they will see spirit too. It's almost like they're given a day pass to the world of spirit. So, or as my old teacher used to call it, the bus pass. You know, so when it comes to that, know that people with a condition of the brain were protected for their mind by giving them that release to spirit and being able to actually instantly get that ability back in. It's kind of like a spiritual payback for, yes, I know things are not great, but here, let's make life a little bit easier for you. So what this is all about is just knowing that you can't always get a direction and a beam of light shined on your feet by others, because sometimes you are the light that's casting at your feet. So have a little bit more faith in yourself, have a little bit more trust in yourself and those that are part of your safe space to carry you forward and give you the help that you need. And I'm sorry it's a quick one, but I'll say God bless you and hope that helps.
Lovely.
Right. Yes.
Okay. So Nicola's asking, I had quite a close connection with my nan when I was younger. I never pushed myself to develop further and lost the connection. Now hoping to try and develop further. Bingo, you've just hit it. You've done it now. Okay. So Nicola, as soon as you put it out there and say to the universe, to whoever you believe in, whatever your belief is, as soon as you put those words out there, you've just spoken it, you've manifested it, you've set the intention. So right now, what we are doing right now is helping you boost that little signal. So your nan will be hearing this, your guides will be hearing this. You've already said, I want to push it further. So watch where doors start opening. I always say when you put it out there and the doors start opening, don't go, oh yes, look at that door opening. Go through it, Nicola. So you've already made the first step today by saying that. You know, I always say to people, be careful what you wish for, be careful what you say. Words are living things. And you've just put all your focus and all your intention on developing further. Nan will be the one that you're drawn to maybe help you, help open those doors. You've just done it today. If I was you, here I go, it sounds like a plug, get more on SPtv, start following the links to people that are doing the teachings, pick up a few basics, a few simple, easy exercises. You're already a medium, it just needs someone to pull it out of you. So make that lovely connection. I always think the best connection you can make from spirit is when you get a little something for yourself and it keeps that faith going. So your close connection with your nan is still there, it's never gone. Again, like we were saying earlier, it's maybe just dulled down a little bit, life's maybe gotten in the way. One thing that sometimes gets in the way is grief. Believe it or not, when someone passes away, we are so bereft, we are so upset. Please let me know that you're there. We block the signal because we're in such a state. Just calm it all down. First thing you can do before you even get to the development stage is practice doing a few little prayers, sit quietly, sit in the power and ask spirit to open a door for you and just wait and see what happens. But you've already done it. You've already done it.
Completely agree. You know, the first step towards getting an answer is asking a question at the end of the day, isn't it? And you know, I always use this analogy of we are the living spirit. We forget that bit, you know, because we're so restrictive and limited by borders and names and physical boundaries. We forget we are living spirit made manifest. So we have that spark within us. And just like a light bulb, we shine our light and they can see that light. Now, sometimes, as you said, life gets in the way. And the way I describe it is this: if you've got a bulb in the middle of the desert glowing away, you can see it for miles. But if there's a sandstorm, and this is life, if there's a sandstorm and that light bulb gets buried, that light is going to be diminished. It won't be seen. But it's not that the light has gone. It's just that it's buried and it's hidden. All you've got to do is scrape away the gunk of life, and that light is still glowing as brightly as ever. Some people struggle sitting quietly. Some people struggle, you know, having no stimulus to help them grow. That's where I find guided meditations really, really useful. There are, you know, you become an SPtv VIP. There are workshops and guidances on this safe space. You know, there are always discussions going on morning, noon, and night. You know, it's funny really, because you go onto the SPtv lounge, there's always something going on. You go onto the chat groups, there's always something going on. I chat week in, week out, day in, day out with, you know, for instance, those in my development circle. You don't, if you join a circle, yes, that's an important thing. It's a commitment, and it's you making a statement to the universe, I'm going to do this. But it doesn't mean that you should only discuss the topic, you know, once a week. You know, I've got a WhatsApp group with members of my development circle, and we're chatting morning, noon, and night half the time. It's not always about spirit. It's about building that friendship, that trust, that community, that safe space where you can flourish. So try sitting in the power. I know that helps a lot of people. Try sitting and doing some guided meditations, but just talk to people, share experiences, understanding you're not alone. That is the most important part.
Totally, totally. My little granddaughter came along this morning to say hello before she went to school, and her mum said, go on then, ask Nanny what you want to ask her. And I thought, oh Lordy, what am I going to get? Because, you know, and she went, Nanny, what is a soul? And I had a similar conversation this morning, you know, explaining it's who we are inside, you know, think about where were you before you were here? And she went, well, I don't know. And I went, your soul, you were someone, you were a soul. So yeah, we're all ready to go in this world. We're all ready to go.
Absolutely.
Wrapped and ready to go.
The battery that charges the car.
Yes. Sometimes my battery backfires. It's not very good.
I know that feeling. I know.
Yes.
That feeling.
Oh yes. Sometimes my battery's not fully charged. Not firing on all cylinders, but I get there. So anyway.
It's something we always have to get used to happening. You know, it's still, we have to, going all the way back to the beginning with that question about prayers, we have to be prepared that life is happening, because that's what we're here to do. And spend some time focusing on that as well. So readings then, are you drawn to any names? Have you seen any names that you want to come back to? Would you like
Nicola's on the screen now. Nicola's there now and asked such a really good question. So Nicola, if it's okay, what did Richard say there? I'm totally ignoring.
He's just going to confirm that Richard's just going to confirm that Nicola is still here.
Nicola's still there. Okay, if you just confirm that, that would be great, because I don't want to be, well, I could talk it and she could watch it later, but I'd rather she was here now, pressing share and getting a really good reading. Is she there, Nicola? Okay. Okay, we're just waiting to see if Nicola's still there, because I was drawn to go to Nicola. Sometimes Spirit draw me to the name or the question, or perhaps sometimes the picture that comes up. Yeah, she's there. Okay. Hi Nicola, I hope I can work with you. So the card that I've chosen for you is the 10 of Michael. Okay, these are Doreen Virtue cards, so just tell you who they are, and they are the Archangel Power Tarot cards. I always like to tell people what I'm using, because sometimes they're inspired to go and buy it or get them. So this card, the first thing that I want to say to you, Nicola, is it is predominantly blue. When I get blue in a reading, I immediately want to go to the throat chakra. So I know that you would understand where words are a little bit stuck for you at this moment in time. You are desperately holding back on saying something, or you would understand where you're walking on eggshells around someone, or you've been in a situation in the past where perhaps you didn't feel listened to, or someone cuts you off mid-sentence. You know, you start to talk from the heart and it's la, 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 fingers in the ears, and they don't listen. So I know that I have a lady here for you today telling you that your words are valued. You are valued. Your words are important. And again, the whole theme of today has been prayers. Are we heard? And this is to let you know you're definitely being heard, because this blue is all about speech and communication. Okay. I do feel as well that I want to talk about the throat chakra area. So someone currently would perhaps be getting sore throats, dry throats, perhaps medications making their throat a little bit dry. But also I feel like someone had something happen in this area. Perhaps, you know, a medical condition that needed looked at, a camera down or something down. The card that you've got here is actually 100% true. Great. So the card that you've got here leads me to relationships as well. It's called the Swan Song, but there are also two swans in the background. Now, in life, swans mate for life. And if something happens to one of them, the other one doesn't bode so well, doesn't fare so well. So you would perhaps understand someone who was in a long relationship and lost someone, and they're struggling a little bit to carry on without them. But also, I feel, Nicola, you would understand where someone was let down badly in a relationship. It should have been for life. It should have been the swans mating for life, and someone maybe didn't stick to their side of the bargain and ruined that contract that we have. The ballerina on the picture, that tells me it's time out on something, time to call something to an end. One situation in your life is coming to an end. But like I was saying earlier, we have to close the door before we can go through another one. So perhaps you're looking at the past a little bit, Nicole. Perhaps you're not wanting to close that door and just can't quite cut the ties to something that's been going on. It is a swan song. It is the end of an act. It's the end of an era in your life. And perhaps that could be moving on to a new home, new job. Someone around you might be moving on in life or going up in life, new career, new job, situations changing, but it's definitely all about change, okay? I feel for you sometimes, Nicole. Is it Nicole? Nicola? New glasses, sorry, I'm getting used to varifocals. In life sometimes, Nicola, when we have change, people are a bit scared of change. It's like, oh, I don't like change, just keep things as they are. Change is good if it's exciting. Oh, I'm going on holiday, something great's happening. But change, if we're not aware of what's happening, can kind of throw us a little bit. So just watch where, that's the validation you've been asking for, hallelujah, we got there. So just grasp the thistle, as we call it. Be a little bit braver in life and just grasp the situation that's coming in front of you. It just takes one foot to go through a door, the other foot will follow. And I know that I've got a lovely lady in spirit saying she's going to push you right through that door as well. The number 6 would be relevant to you because I've got 6 things that I'm drawn to here. So either the month of June would be relevant for a birthday, passing, anniversary, the 6th of a month, 6 in a door, but 6 will be relevant somehow, okay? Definitely a situation ending and new opportunities for happiness coming. So if you don't know what this is, 6 being relevant, again, you know, like we were saying earlier, sometimes spirit sort of allude us to something that's going to happen. I would say look towards June, where summer months, you get out more, fresh air. I don't feel you're a winter person at all, Nicola. I feel you need the sunshine on your skin. That will lift your mood, lift your spirits. And if you're happy, don't let anyone burst your bubble and try to bring it to an end. No bubble bursters around, Nicola, okay? Just happiness. So be brave, Nicola, because good things are coming, and put the past behind you. If you want to put the past, just visualise cutting the ties. Just visualise cutting the ties to things that upset you. You know, I kind of visualise like a tent with pegs going out. Cut the ties. Just get rid of that situation. Okay? That was just a quick reading for you. I hope that was okay, Nicola.
Bless you. Well done, Nicola, and well done, Jill. And Nicola, you've got an awesome name, so you know you can't go far.
I know.
Excellent. 6th of August is the same date both Mum and Dad passed 2 years apart. So there is the 6th that you were mentioning. Great evidence there. Well done, Jill. Bless you. Can I have? Yes, please. Let's have some names. Let's see where I'm going. Rattle along through as we can, you know, get some messages out there. Keep them coming, keep. Linda, can I go back to Linda, please? And then I'll call out a full name and see if she's still about. Linda Lelenta. That's a beautiful name, just off the cuff. Shared a lovely. Liked and followed, so that's all right. Linda Lelenta. Excellent, beautiful name. I instantly, hey, there you go, well trained too. Instantly, I've got to give you Heracles, which is known as the card of strength, but there's so much more to it than that. And very good point there, Jill. The cards that I use are the Mythic Oracle, Wisdom of the Ancient Greek Pantheon by Carissa Melado. They're the ones that I'm using today anyway. So apologize to all of the other Lindas. It's Linda Lilenta that this message is for. So I should have realised, considering my own mother is watching too. She probably thought, oh, is it me? Sorry, every other Linda in the universe, but this is between me and Linda Lilenta. Yes, there is central to your whole situation at the moment a male figure, a great powerful figure, a figure of strength. I do know, however, he would have been someone who had this gentle grace, a slight sense of regality to him. You know, it's gracefulness as well as strength and power. And around you at the moment, I know that there is a lot of perceived fear of the unknown. The reason I say this is because of the images that are being highlighted on this card for me. This is how I work with cards. It looks quite scary. It looks terrifying. This whole, I mean, if you look at the image, he looks like he's being wrapped up and nibbled by this here lion. But actually, that is his strength. It's this wrapping around, it's this protection. And sometimes we have to put this outward scariness to the world just to keep people at bay. But unfortunately, that keeps everyone at bay, not just the people that you need to keep out of your life. Sometimes it puts the people that you need in your life away as well. So you need to understand that not all that, thank you. There is a Lee involved here, I either connecting with you or this gentleman, the name of Lee. But it's almost like this. There's not all that glisters is gold is a really important phrase to mention here. Sometimes things can look golden, but it ends up just being a weight around your neck. But other times we have to remember that when we get stuck in that lack of trust for not all that glisters is gold, it makes us question those golden moments. And I feel that you need to be embracing those golden moments. Yes, protect yourself. Yes, be strong and stubborn. I know you are strong and stubborn. You just don't believe it. And I know that around you at this particular time, that it's I'm seeing puffy eyes, dark circles around the eyes, as if to say, you know, not getting much sleep or losing sleep. Thank you. There's something about losing sleep here. But you know, do not, and this is this stubbornness of this gentleman coming through. Do not forbid yourself happiness because other people have made you fearful of it by that reaction towards pain and distrust. Distrust will always exist in the world, but you have a better judge of character than you give yourself credit for. Stop putting yourself down because you are the one that's holding on to these golden moments, and that's okay. Do not be afraid. Be literally strength. You are the strength, but remember that the situations in your life where you felt like everything's on top of you and everything's attacking you, those are the ones that have made you the strongest. And the reason I know this is because you are still here, still standing up, still getting out of your PJs, making Monday matter, all of these things to throw in some jokes and some humor, you know, just to bring you up a bit, because that's what this gentleman wants to do. It's almost like he would pull funny faces and do silly things. I think there may even be something with the teeth. But I've just got, oh, and ears. I know I can't see your ears, so I don't know whether he's making fun of yours or whether he had sticky out ears. But there's something to do with the ears as well. I will just throw in. But do not allow your life to become stagnant by fear. Show your strength. Be the strength that you really do know you have. You just shine. You hide. Thank you. You're one of these people whose light is underneath the sand. It's not that you're dimmed out. It's not that your light's gone out. And it's not that you are beyond finding. It's just that you need to just scrape away at the surface. Get rid of all of the pants that's been going on and let your light shine. And I know you can do this. You are in a place amongst friends here on SPtv who will now jump on you and give you support and advice and guidance. Ah, thank you, father-in-law. Bless you. It's there is this silliness. It's the silly faces and pulling funny faces. You know, it's all about that upliftment and that laughter, and he definitely wants to bring you that to you. But be stubborn. I also have to say there is a necklace or something. You know, it feels a bit more solid than a simple necklace. It could even be, you know, like a bracelet, but it's really, really quite thick and chunky and strong as just a parting gift. And I'll say, God bless you. Whew. There we are.
Well done. That was lovely.
I enjoy working. I don't tell anyone, you know, keep it a secret between me and you, Jill. But I never used to enjoy working with cards until I started working online. They do help, you know, get things moving faster, which always cheers me. Because he knows that I can go on forever if I
I love cards. I love cards. I work with all different things. I work with feathers, I work with cards, I work with sand, I work with all different things. It's great. Really great.
Bless you. Well, do you know what, Jill?
Yeah.
It's 12:30.
I know. That was a quick...
Isn't...
Time flies on Earth when you're having fun.
It's certain. I love the way you tied that back there. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, it's been an absolute honour, privilege and pleasure to work with you today.
It's been fantastic. Thank you.
Many others. People, if you've got questions, keep on sending them through to us to give us inspiration for the next episode.
Yeah, I love it.
SPtv does have continuation though, because tonight, of course, a reminder, we've got the lovely Robert Lee joining us tonight on SPtv. A big thank you to everyone who has been supporting SPtv and keeping it going. You know, Jill, it's been an absolute privilege, mate.
It's been a lovely morning, really lovely. There's nothing I like better than a good chat about spiritualism and the world and life.
Richard.
Just love it.
Richard, what have you done?
I know. You may have to break out the
I don't know. See, Richard's saying, I've given you. Yeah, with the two of us the way we are, I think that's coming back on you, boy. I really, really do, my boy. So you can tell my guide calls everyone dear boy. So I always know when he's about, because he calls everyone. What? Absolute. Oh, you know what? You know, Richard says, you know, he gives out fake stuff. I think he gives out excellent guidance.
Yeah, I've kind of had that conversation as well, Richard, with his fake readings, but I don't think they're fake. I think they're actually, there's substance in it.
Do you know how many messages I got over the week from last week when Richard gave my mother a message? The amount of private messages I got about how good Richard's reading for my mum was and how accurate it was. Absolutely brilliant. So Richard did say, I will just qualify because I keep forgetting people can't hear him. The reason my guide says that is because my guide wants us to remain with the childlike vision of youth and not grow up and enjoy life in the mind of a child. I think that's sound advice and safe advice. So thank you, Richard, for that analogy. And thank you again, Jill, for
probably thank you, Nick. It's been a great morning. Really enjoyed it.
For helping to make Monday matter.
Make Monday matter. And it should matter. Monday shouldn't be the day of the week we dread. It should be the day of the week that starts a lovely week full of optimism and hope. That's fantastic show. Thank you, Addy.
And
I didn't pay you stuff.
Optimism and hope, I think, is a wonderful way to end. Sound words to end on. So make every day matter, but remember, we're back next Monday to make the beginning of your week matter. And remember, as Jill said herself, optimism and hope. So from the both of us here,
have a great week.
God bless.
Bye. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye.